Hey, 6th grade, happy Wednesday. I hope everyone's having a really good week so far. So before I get started with the lesson, I just want to say that we do have a Google Meet session today, and that will be taking place from 10:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. So please come on with any questions about content that you're struggling with or that you just kind of want some clarification on. You do have your last overview due on Friday, so yay for your last overview. You guys did it, so awesome job with that. You completed all 12, so you should be very proud of yourselves. If you have any questions on the overview, please feel free to ask me anything on the overviews on the Google Meet as well, or shoot me an email. I am more than happy to help you all. So yeah, let's just get into the lesson. Today was lesson 15 for module 5. I feel like we're moving so fast through this. The time is flying, but you're all doing an amazing job. So keep up the good work. Your teachers are very proud of you. So yeah, let's get on to lesson 15. So lesson 15 was all about representing three-dimensional figures using nets. So this can get kind of confusing. So I'm just going to explain it the way that makes the most sense to me. It could make sense in a different way to you, but I'm going to explain it the way that it helps me, hoping that maybe it'll help people who are confused. So for the first one, we're going to be doing exercise 1, number 1. And it says nets are two-dimensional figures. So this is the definition of a net. A net is a two-dimensional figure that can be folded into three-dimensional solids. So it's starting off as something two-dimensional, and once you fold it up, it can become something 3D. And then it says some of the drawings below are nets of a cube, others are not. So they can be folded, but not into a cube. So basically all of these that you see right here, these can be folded, but not into a cube. So the key is that with these nets, they need to be able to fold into a cube. So here are the ones that are supposed to be, that you could, I can't talk. Here are the ones that can be folded into a cube. So we have A, B, C, E, G, I, L, M, O, P, and T. So as you can see, these ones that are shaded, these are the ones that can be folded. These are the nets that can be folded into a cube. Here is how I kind of think of it. So as you all know, I'm super visual. I like to draw pictures and underline, and that really helps me. So I'm very visual. I kind of like to think of things first and like see it before I actually, do the problem or do whatever, it's asking me. So what I like to do is I literally look at these nets in my head, and I look at A, and I just kind of like fold it in my head. I think of it. I'm like, okay, I can fold this way, this, and that will connect that way, and that'll make a cube. So that's how I figure these out. I go through and I look at them and I think, okay, how can I fold this? This can go this way, this that way, this will connect to this side, to the bottom, and that'll make a cube. So that's the way that this helps me. I'm not going to go through and explain to each one because it's the same explanation for each one, but that's how I do it. Is I literally think in my head, okay, I'm looking at this picture right now. I'm looking at it. Let's just take L for instance. And I literally, I use my fingers too. I literally go, okay, this can fold this way, this that way, it can connect. So everyone knows what a cube looks like. So if you can kind of vision that in your head and then kind of take those pieces and fold them in your head, that's just the way that helps me the best. I'm sure that you all have other ways of figuring it out, but that's the way that helps me. And I found that that's the way that when I explain it to others, they're like, oh, okay, I get it. So that's just what helps me with this. If that doesn't help you and you have another way that you do it and it works for you, great. Keep that way. You do not have to be visual like myself, but that's just the way that I think of it. I literally look at it and I say, okay, in which way can this fold into a cube? Like for this one, I look at this and I'm like, okay, I can fold it this way, blah, 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 but it won't fold into a cube exactly. So for the ones on C, it says write the letters of the figures that cannot be folded into a cube. The letters would be D, F, sorry, I don't know why I didn't put a space in between there. D, F, H, J, K, N, Q, R, and S. So that is what I did for that one. And now on the next page, this was page 187. On page 189, this was the exit ticket on page 189, still on lesson 15. The exit ticket asked you to define what a net is and describe it in your own words. So as long as your definition is somewhat like the one that Miss Drexler posted and the one that I'm showing right now, you're good. But the definition that I said a net is a two-dimensional figure that can be folded to create a three-dimensional solid. So you're starting off with something that is 2D and you are folding it to make something that is 3D. So like think of having a piece of paper in front of you. I know a lot of you, like I've seen a lot of you do it. I've seen a lot of you fold stuff to make three-dimensional figures. So think of like a flat piece of paper, whatever, like this, and then folding it up to make something 3D. That's what a net is. I think that's the easiest way for me to understand it. So hopefully that helps you at all as well. I can't talk today, clearly. And then number 2 on that exit ticket on page 189, that one says, which of the following can fold to make a cube and explain how you know. I didn't write the part that said explain how you know because I know that a lot of you are going to have different explanations and that's totally okay. So my explanation for how I know is that I literally visualize it and I look at every single one and say, okay, how, excuse me, how can this go into a cube? So here are the ones that I shaded. I said this one can be folded into a cube, and I just kind of like visualized it in my head. So these were the ones that I said could be folded into a cube. And honestly, there's kind of like a pattern with it almost. You'll kind of see like there's kind of one that like, you know, protrudes out this way, and you'll kind of see like the lines like this, like that, like that. We have a long one right there. So that's kind of how I look at it. I just really visualize it, and I ask myself to kind of like draw it out in my head almost. Like how can I look at this, and how can these two-dimensional little cubes or squares, whatever you want to call them, fold into a cube. So I just kind of, that's how I do it. I remember doing these when I was in school, and I remember that other students had other methods of doing it, but I just remember that visualizing it in my head and kind of like using my fingers to be like, okay, this can fold this way, this that way. That really helped me with it. That was all for your lesson today, so not too bad. If anybody has any questions at all, if you're confused on anything, if you need any further explanation, please feel free to send me an email. I will be more than happy to help you, or come on Google Meet with your questions. I am more than happy to answer them, and Miss Drexler also pops in on those emails and or on those Google Meets. I really can't talk today. On those Google Meets, and she'll be able to answer some questions too. So I hope everyone has a great day. Keep up the good work. You're all doing amazing, and I will see you all very soon.